Marcus Chen stood in his small kitchen, staring at the official document in his hands. The paper felt heavy, even though it weighed almost nothing. His weathered fingers, marked by years of military service, traced the alien script that had been translated into basic English. "Dad, what is it?" Elena asked from the doorway. At 16, she was already taller than most of her classmates at the integrated academy. Her dark hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail, and grease stains on her shirt showed she had been working on another engineering project. Marcus looked up at his daughter. After his wife died 5 years ago, Elena was all he had left. They lived on New Brisbane, a small frontier world where humans tried to make a living alongside other alien species. It was not easy, but they managed. "It's from the Galactic Heritage Office," Marcus said slowly. "My uncle died," Elena frowned. "Uncle? You never mentioned having a brother." "Half-brother," Marcus corrected. "We never talked much. He left Earth when I was still a kid, went off to explore space. I heard from him maybe 3 times in 30 years. Elena sat down across from him at their small metal table. "What does the letter say?" Marcus read the document again, still not believing the words. "He left me something." "A space station." Elena's eyes went wide. "A space station? That's incredible. Where is it?" "Kepler 442 system," Marcus said. "But Elena, look at this." He pointed to another section of the document. "The Heritage Office says it's just old junk. They're calling it typical human construction from the early space age. They want me to pay registration fees just to claim it." Elena grabbed the document and read it herself. Her face grew angry as she read the alien inspector's report. "Listen to this garbage, Dad. The structure shows primitive human metalwork and basic fusion technology. Estimated age, 500 years maximum. No historical or archaeological value. Registration fee, 50,000 credits. Marcus felt his stomach drop. 50,000 credits was everything he had saved from his military pension. "Maybe we should just forget about it," he said quietly. "No way." Elena slammed her hand on the table. "Dad, you fought for 10 years in the Terran Defense Corps. You protected alien worlds from pirates and raiders. And now they're calling our technology primitive?" Marcus looked at his daughter's determined face and felt a spark of his old fighting spirit. Elena was right. He had spent a decade keeping the peace in space, working alongside alien forces who always treated humans like junior partners. Even when human tactics saved the day, the aliens took most of the credit. "The fees will take everything we have," he warned. Elena stood up and paced around the small kitchen. "So what? Dad, when have we ever had anything really valuable? This could be our chance to prove that humans aren't just the galaxy's janitors." Marcus thought about Elena's life at the academy. She was brilliant at engineering, often solving problems that stumped her alien classmates. But the teachers always found ways to give the top grades to Altarian or Vegan students. They said humans were creative but lacked the advanced thinking patterns of other species. "All right," Marcus said finally. "We'll go look at it. But if it really is just junk, we might end up living in that old transport shuttle in the backyard." Elena grinned and hugged him. "Thanks, Dad. I have a feeling about this." 2 weeks later, they stood on the bridge of a rented transport ship, looking at their inheritance through the viewport. The space station hung in the darkness like a sleeping giant. It was enormous, easily 50 kilometers from end to end, with multiple levels and sections that seemed to spiral around a central core. "Well," said Captain Urix, their Altarian pilot, "it certainly looks old." The blue-skinned alien's voice carried the usual tone of superior amusement that Marcus had learned to hate. "Very human design. All bulk, no elegance." Elena pressed her face against the viewport, studying the station's structure. "The proportions are interesting," she said quietly. "Look at those angles, Dad. They're not random." Captain Urix laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "Human female, you see patterns where none exist. This is why your species struggles with advanced mathematics." Marcus felt his jaw tighten, but Elena spoke before he could say anything. "Captain, what's the mathematical ratio between the main hull length and the diameter of those ring sections?" The alien glanced at his instruments. "Approximately 1.618 to 1. Standard construction ratio." Elena smiled. "That's the golden ratio. It shows up in nature and advanced architecture. Seems pretty sophisticated for primitive human construction." Captain Urix's superior expression faltered slightly, but he recovered quickly. "Coincidence? Even primitive species sometimes stumble upon basic mathematical concepts. As their ship approached the docking bay, Marcus could see more details of the station. The metal hull looked strange under their ship's lights. Instead of the rough, welded plates he expected, the surface seemed smooth and seamless, as if the entire structure had been grown rather than built. The docking bay is still functional, Captain Urix noted with surprise. The magnetic clamps are responding to our ship's systems. They docked with a gentle thud that echoed through both ships. As Marcus and Elena gathered their equipment, Captain Urix shook his blue head. I will return in 3 days to collect you. Try not to damage anything that might have actual value. Marcus and Elena put on their atmosphere suits and activated their portable life support systems. The station showed no signs of power or atmosphere, so they would need to bring their own air and heat. The airlock opened with a hiss, and they stepped into their inheritance. The corridor beyond was completely dark except for their helmet lights. The walls were made of the same strange, smooth metal they had seen from outside. Elena ran her gloved hand along the surface and her instruments beeped softly. Dad, this is weird, she said, studying her scanner. The metal composition is... I've never seen anything like it. It's not steel or titanium or any of the usual human construction materials. They walked deeper into the station, their footsteps echoing in the empty halls. Most rooms they found were empty, but some contained furniture and equipment that had been left behind. Everything was covered in dust, but nothing seemed damaged or corroded. In what looked like a command center, Elena found a collection of data storage devices. They were clearly human-made, but the design was unfamiliar. These look really old, Dad, but also advanced. Like someone took our current technology and improved it. Marcus was examining the walls near what might have been a captain's chair. Elena, come look at this. She joined him and saw what had caught his attention. Carved into the metal wall were symbols and writing. Most of it was in languages they didn't recognize, but some parts were clearly ancient human script. Terra Command Station Omega-7, Elena read slowly. Established Earth Standard Year 2387, that's... She paused to calculate. That's over 2,800 years ago. Dad, this station is ancient. Really ancient. Marcus felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold air. The Heritage Office said it was 500 years old at most. Elena continued reading the inscriptions, her voice growing excited. Dad, listen to this. In service to the Terran Empire and the protection of human colonies across 37 star systems. 37 systems? Humans have never controlled more than 5 systems at once. They spent the rest of their first day exploring, finding more evidence that their inheritance was far older and more significant than anyone had imagined. But when they returned to New Brisbane and filed their preliminary report, the response was immediate and brutal. The story hit the galactic news networks within hours. Delusional humans claim ancient heritage, read one headline. Human junk collectors think they found treasure, mocked another. Elena watched the news reports with growing anger. Alien comedians were making jokes about primitive humans who couldn't tell the difference between garbage and artifacts. Her classmates sent her mocking messages, and teachers looked at her with pity. But Elena remembered the golden ratio in the station's design, the strange metal that didn't match any known human technology, and the inscriptions that spoke of an empire spanning dozens of worlds. Dad, she said as they watched another comedian ridicule their discovery, what if everyone is wrong? What if humans really did build something amazing and everyone just forgot? Marcus and Elena returned to the station a week later, this time with better equipment and supplies for a longer stay. The mockery from the galactic community had only grown worse. Elena's teachers now used their discovery as an example of human delusions of grandeur. Marcus had been asked to resign from his part-time job at the spaceport because his supervisor was embarrassed by the association. Let them laugh, Elena said as they approached the station again. This time they had rented a small cargo hauler, piloted by a human who was sympathetic to their situation. We know there's something special here. Captain Torres, their pilot, was a weathered woman who had spent most of her life hauling cargo between human settlements. I've been flying for 30 years, she told them as they docked. I've seen a lot of old human structures. This one feels different, Elena agreed. Even from outside, the station seemed to have a presence that was hard to explain. The way it sat in space, the mathematical precision of its design, the strange way light seemed to bend around certain sections, None of it matched the primitive construction described in the official reports. This time, they came prepared with a portable fusion generator, atmospheric processors, and enough supplies to stay for several days. Marcus had spent the last of their savings on the equipment, but Elena had convinced him it was necessary. If we're going to prove this place is special, we need to explore it properly, she had argued. We can't do that with just helmet lights and a few hours of air. They set up their base camp in what appeared to be a cargo bay near the docking port. The fusion generator hummed to life, providing power for their lights and equipment. The atmospheric processor began slowly filling the sealed bay with breathable air. As they worked, Elena noticed something odd. "Dad, look at this," she said, pointing to the walls around them. "The metal here is different from what we saw before." Marcus examined the wall where she was pointing. Instead of the smooth, seamless surface they had seen in other parts of the station, this section showed clear construction joints and welds. The metal was also different, standard human steel alloys that he recognized from his military service. "It's like someone built this section later," Elena mused, "added it to the original structure." They spent their first day mapping the station more carefully. What they found was puzzling. The outer sections, including most of the docking bays and cargo areas, were clearly built using standard human construction techniques from about 500 years ago. But the deeper they went toward the center of the station, the more the architecture changed. The central sections were built from that strange, seamless metal. The corridors followed geometric patterns that seemed mathematically perfect. Most puzzling of all, Elena's instruments detected energy signatures even though the station appeared completely dead. "There's something down there," she told Marcus as they ate their evening meal in the cargo bay. "My quantum scanner keeps picking up faint readings from the deepest levels. It's like there's machinery running, but so quietly we can't hear it." Marcus studied their rough map of the station. The aliens who surveyed this place said they found nothing of interest. But look at this. Their survey reports only cover the outer sections. They never went to the center. Elena nodded. Maybe they assumed the whole thing was the same. Or maybe they couldn't get past whatever security systems are down there. The next morning, they began their descent toward the station's core. The corridors here were larger and more elaborate. The walls were covered with inscriptions in multiple languages, including several that Elena didn't recognize alongside ancient human script. "Dad, some of this writing isn't human," she said, running her hand along a section of carved symbols. "But it's not any of the current galactic languages either. It's like diplomatic text, treaties or agreements." Marcus was examining what appeared to be a memorial wall. Names were carved into the metal in neat rows, along with dates and locations. "Elena, look at these dates. Some of them go back 3,000 years. And these locations: Battle of Proxima Station, Defense of Tau Ceti Colony, Liberation of the Altair trade routes." Elena joined him at the memorial wall. "Altair trade routes? But the Altarians always claimed they discovered and developed those routes themselves." "According to this, humans were fighting to keep them open 3,000 years ago," Marcus said quietly. "Elena, what if the Altarians didn't discover those routes? What if they inherited them from us?" They continued deeper into the station, finding more evidence of humanity's forgotten past. Command centers with star charts showing human colonies across dozens of systems. Armories containing weapon designs that were centuries ahead of current human technology. Laboratories with equipment that Elena could barely understand, despite her advanced engineering training. But the most significant discovery came when they reached the station's deepest level. The corridor here opened into a vast chamber that seemed to stretch beyond the reach of their lights. The ceiling was so high it disappeared into darkness. And in the center of the chamber stood something that made both of them stop in amazement. It was a pillar of the same strange metal as the station's core, but this pillar seemed to pulse with faint internal light. Geometric patterns flowed across its surface like living circuits, and at the base of the pillar was a control interface unlike anything Elena had ever seen. "This isn't human technology," she whispered. "At least not any human technology I know about." Marcus approached the pillar cautiously. As he got closer, the patterns of light grew brighter. "Elena, it's responding to us." Elena pulled out her portable scanner and began taking readings. "Dad, the energy levels here are incredible. Whatever this thing is, it's been running continuously for centuries, maybe millennia." She approached the control interface and found that it was covered with both the strange symbols they had seen throughout the station and recognizable human mathematical notation. It's like someone designed this to be operated by humans but using technology we didn't invent. Marcus watched as Elena studied the controls. Do you think it's safe to touch? Elena looked at her readings again. The energy is contained. It's not dangerous radiation. But Dad, I think this might be some kind of computer core. If I'm right, it could contain information about the station's history. She reached out carefully and touched one of the interface panels. Immediately, the pillar's light grew brighter and the patterns began moving faster. A low hum filled the chamber and Elena could swear she heard something like a voice in the distance. Did you hear that? She asked Marcus. Hear what? Elena pressed her ear against the pillar. The humming grew stronger, and now she was sure she could hear something like speech but too faint and distorted to understand. There's something in here, Dad, something alive. Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. Alive? Elena, step away from that thing. But Elena was fascinated. No, Dad, not alive like a person. Alive like an artificial intelligence. I think this pillar contains the station's main computer system. She began working with the interface using her engineering knowledge to try to establish a proper connection. After several minutes, she managed to activate what appeared to be a diagnostic mode. Symbols flowed across the pillar's surface and the humming grew louder. Elena, I don't like this, Marcus said. We don't know what kind of security systems this place might have. Just a few more minutes. Dad, I think I'm getting somewhere. Elena connected her portable computer to the interface using a standard data cable. For a moment, nothing happened. Then her computer screen flickered and text began appearing in ancient human script. External connection detected. The text read, Genetic verification required. Elena looked at Marcus with excitement. Dad, it wants to verify that we're human. It's a security system designed to respond only to humans. How does it verify genetics? Marcus asked. Elena read more text that appeared on her screen. It wants a blood sample. Just a drop. Marcus shook his head. Absolutely not. We don't know what that thing might do with our DNA. But Elena was already pricking her finger with a medical sampler from their kit. Dad, we've come this far. If this really is ancient human technology, then it's part of our heritage. We have a right to know what's in here. She placed a drop of blood on the interface panel. The pillar's light flared brightly and the humming became a clear musical tone. Elena's computer screen filled with new text. Genetic verification complete. Welcome, descendants of Terra. Initiating awakening protocol. Marcus grabbed Elena's arm. Awakening protocol? Elena, what did you just activate? Before she could answer, the humming spread throughout the station. Lights began flickering on in corridors they had explored. The air circulation system activated with a deep whoosh, and from speakers hidden throughout the station came a voice speaking in clear modern English. Diagnostic complete. Core systems nominal. Welcome home, children of Earth. I have been waiting a very long time to speak with you. Elena and Marcus stood frozen in the chamber as the voice continued. I'm Athena, Adaptive Tactical and Historical Emergency Navigation Assistant. I am the guardian of this station and the keeper of humanity's true history. You have many questions and I have many answers. But first we must ensure your safety. External sensors detect multiple alien vessels approaching this system. They are not friendly. Marcus felt his military training kick in. Alien vessels, how many? Marcus stared at the pillar as Athena's voice filled the chamber. After years of being treated like a second-class citizen in the galaxy, hearing an AI speak to him with respect and calling him a child of Earth felt almost unreal. Athena, Elena said, her voice shaking slightly. You said we have 6 hours before those ships arrive. What do they want? They want to investigate the energy signature I created when you activated my systems, Athena replied. For 3,000 years I have remained dormant to avoid detection. But now that I am awake, they will want to know what technology is operating here. Marcus felt his military instincts taking over. Can this station defend itself? Yes, Colonel Chen. But first you must understand what you have inherited. Would you like me to show you? Elena looked at her father with wide eyes. Dad, it called you Colonel. How does it know your rank? I accessed galactic databases when I detected your approach, Athena explained. I know your military service record, Elena's academic achievements, and the circumstances that brought you here. I also know that both of you have been ridiculed for claiming this station has historical value. Marcus felt a surge of anger. The Heritage Committee said this place was worthless human junk. The Heritage Committee lied, Athena said simply. This station, Omega-7, was the command center for the Terran Deep Space Fleet. At the height of human expansion, we controlled 73 star systems and maintained peace across this entire sector of the galaxy. Elena's voice was barely a whisper. 73 systems? But humans have never controlled more than 5 systems at once. That is what you have been taught, Athena agreed. It is also false. Elena, please place your hand on the interface panel again. I want to show you something. Elena looked at Marcus, who nodded reluctantly. When she touched the panel, the chamber around them suddenly filled with light. The walls became transparent, revealing a 3-dimensional star map that filled the entire space. Thousands of stars glowed in the holographic display, connected by glowing lines that showed trade routes and communication networks. Many of the stars were marked with human symbols indicating colonies or outposts. This is what the galaxy looked like 3,000 years ago, Athena explained. The blue markers show human colonies. The green lines show trade routes established and protected by human fleets. The red zones show areas where humans served as peacekeepers between alien species. Marcus walked through the holographic display, amazed by its scope. There are hundreds of human settlements here. How is this possible? Humans were not always the junior partners in galactic civilization, Athena said. Your species has remarkable abilities that other races lack. You adapt quickly to new environments. You solve problems creatively. Most importantly, you can work together with other species without trying to dominate them. Elena was studying the trade routes. These paths through space, Athena, are these the same routes that the Altarians and vegans use today? Exactly the same, Athena confirmed. Humans discovered and mapped most of the safe hyperspace routes in this part of the galaxy. When humanity retreated to Earth, other species simply continued using the infrastructure you had built. Marcus felt a growing sense of anger and loss. What happened? Why did humans retreat? Why don't we remember any of this? The star map changed, showing the same region of space but with most of the human markers turning red and then disappearing. The event was called the Silence, Athena explained. It was not a military attack. It was something far more insidious. Elena watched the human markers vanish one by one. It looks like they just left, all at once. Not left, Athena corrected. They were forced to leave by biological and psychological warfare that your species had never encountered before. The attack was coordinated by a coalition of alien governments who feared human influence in the galaxy. The holographic display shifted to show molecular diagrams and brain scans. The aliens released engineered viruses that affected human neural pathways. The viruses didn't kill humans, but they changed the way human brains processed information. Specifically, they damaged the neural networks responsible for technological innovation and long-term planning. Marcus studied the brain scans with growing horror. They made us stupid. Not stupid, Athena said, but less capable of the kind of thinking that made humans successful in space. The viruses also created psychological compulsions. Infected humans felt an overwhelming urge to return to Earth. They abandoned colonies, left their ships, and forgot about their achievements. Elena was reading the data scrolling past in the display. Athena, this says the viruses were designed to be hereditary. They could be passed down through generations. Yes. Within a few hundred years, most humans carried the genetic modifications. Your species forgot its own history and accepted the role of minor participants in galactic civilization. Marcus felt a chill of understanding. That's why humans always seem to struggle with advanced technology. That's why other species treat us like children. The aliens who attacked you made sure that evidence of human achievement was either destroyed or misattributed to other species, Athena continued. They rewrote history to make it appear that humans had always been primitive and dependent on alien guidance. Elena was staring at the molecular diagrams. But if these viruses affected all humans, how are we able to understand you now? How could we activate the station? Because not all humans were infected, Athena said. Some humans, like your uncle, carried genetic markers that made them resistant to the viruses. These markers are rare but still exist in the human population. Marcus suddenly understood. That's why Elena has always been better at engineering than her alien classmates. That's why I was successful in military strategy even when my commanding officers said humans weren't suited for leadership roles. Exactly, Athena confirmed. Both of you carry significant concentrations of the unmodified human genotypes. Elena especially shows remarkable compatibility with the neural interfaces designed for the original human space fleet. Elena looked at the interface panel with new interest. What kind of neural interfaces? Touch the panel again, Athena instructed. But this time, try to clear your mind and let the connection form naturally. Elena placed both hands on the panel and closed her eyes. Immediately her face changed. Her eyes opened wide, but now they seemed to be seeing things that weren't in the chamber. Oh, she breathed. Oh, I can see everything. Marcus stepped forward in alarm. Elena, what's happening? I can see the whole station, Dad. I can feel every system, every corridor, every piece of equipment. It's like the station is part of my body. Elena's voice was filled with wonder. And there are other stations. I can sense them too. They're sleeping, but they're out there. Athena's voice was pleased. Elena has natural compatibility with our neural interface systems. With proper training, she could command not just this station, but the entire network of human installations that remain hidden throughout the galaxy. Elena opened her eyes and looked at Marcus. Dad, there are dozens of these stations. All of them are waiting for humans to come back and activate them. Marcus felt overwhelmed by the implications. How many people know about this? How many humans still carry the unmodified genetics? Unknown, Athena admitted. Your uncle was part of a small group of humans who had recovered fragments of the true history. They spent their lives searching for hidden installations like this one, but they were careful to avoid detection by alien authorities. Elena was still connected to the interface, information flowing through her mind. Athena, what about the ships that are coming? What will they do when they get here? They will demand to inspect the station, Athena replied. When they discover that it contains advanced human technology, they will try to claim it for scientific study. They cannot allow evidence of humanity's true heritage to become public knowledge. Marcus felt his military training take over. What are our options? You could surrender the station and accept relocation to a safe facility where you would be studied and eventually silenced, Athena said. Or you could trust me to show you what this station can really do. Elena was reading data streams flowing through the neural interface. Dad, this station isn't just a command center. It's a ship. A really, really big ship. Marcus looked around the chamber. This entire structure can move? Omega-7 is a dreadnought-class vessel designed for deep space operations, Athena confirmed. It has been disguised as a derelict station for 3,000 years, but all systems remain functional. Elena's eyes were bright with excitement. The weapon systems alone could outfight anything in the current galactic fleet. And the defenses? Dad, this ship could survive anything they could throw at us. Marcus felt a moment of doubt. But if we reveal what this place really is, there's no going back. The entire galaxy will know that humans are more than they pretended to be. Colonel Chen, Athena said, your species has been living a lie for 3,000 years. You have been treated as inferiors by the same aliens who stole your technology and destroyed your civilization. The only question is whether you are ready to stop pretending to be less than you are. Elena squeezed her father's hand. Dad, we could show everyone the truth. The station came alive around them like a sleeping giant opening its eyes. Elena stood at the central interface, her hands glowing with the same light as the control panel, while streams of information flowed through her mind. Marcus watched in amazement as his daughter seemed to grow more confident and capable with each passing minute. Athena, Elena said, her voice carrying a new authority, show us the complete historical records. I want to understand exactly what happened to humanity. The chamber filled with holographic displays showing documents, images, and video recordings spanning thousands of years. Marcus found himself looking at scenes he could barely believe. Massive human fleets protecting trade convoys, human diplomats negotiating peace treaties between alien species, and human colonies thriving on worlds across the galaxy. The Terran Empire was never built on conquest, Athena explained as the images shifted. Humans succeeded because they could bring different species together. While other races fought each other for resources and territory, humans offered cooperation and shared technology. Elena was absorbing information directly through the neural interface. Dad, look at this. Human engineers designed the hyperspace navigation systems that every ship in the galaxy still uses. Human scientists discovered the quantum communication networks that allow instant messages between star systems. Even the universal translator technology comes from human research. Marcus studied a display showing the development of galactic infrastructure over time. Everything we think of as alien technology was actually invented by humans. Not everything, Athena corrected, but the foundation of modern galactic civilization was built by human innovation. Your species has a unique ability to see connections that other races miss. While aliens often focus on perfecting what they already know, humans constantly discover new possibilities. The displays changed to show the events leading up to the silence. Marcus watched recordings of secret meetings between alien leaders. Their faces filled with fear and resentment as they discussed the human problem. They were afraid we would dominate them, Elena said, reading the translation of an ancient Altarian document. Listen to this. The humans reproduce too quickly, adapt too easily, and innovate too rapidly. If we allow their expansion to continue, they will surpass us in every field within a few generations. Athena's voice carried a note of sadness. The irony is that humans showed no interest in dominating other species. Your ancestors genuinely wanted to help create a peaceful, prosperous galaxy where all races could thrive. Marcus felt a growing anger as he watched more recordings of the conspiracy against humanity. How long did they plan the attack? Over 200 years, Athena replied. They studied human psychology, biology, and social structures. They identified the specific neural pathways that made humans successful and designed viruses to target those exact functions. Elena shuddered as she accessed records of the biological warfare campaign. Dad, it wasn't just the viruses. They also used psychological manipulation. They convinced humans that Earth was the only place they truly belonged. They made our ancestors believe that space exploration was dangerous and unnatural. The displays showed the systematic withdrawal of human colonies. It wasn't a panicked evacuation, it was a slow, deliberate abandonment as infected humans lost interest in maintaining their space-based civilization. Within 3 generations, most humans had returned to Earth, Athena said. Those who remained in space found their children unable to operate advanced technology or think in the long-term patterns necessary for interstellar civilization. Marcus was studying tactical reports from the final years of human expansion. What about resistance? Didn't anyone fight back? Some tried, Athena admitted. A few thousand humans realized what was happening and tried to preserve human knowledge and technology. They built hidden installations like this one, hoping that future generations would rediscover their heritage. Elena was accessing personnel records through the neural interface. Athena, my uncle's name is in these files. He was part of something called the Remembrance Project. Your uncle spent 40 years searching for hidden human installations, Athena confirmed. He found 3 others before discovering Omega-7. Each installation contained pieces of the historical record, but none had a complete AI system capable of revealing the full truth. Marcus felt a surge of pride for the uncle he had barely known. He knew what we had lost. He suspected, Athena corrected. But like most modern humans, his genetic modifications prevented him from fully understanding the scope of human achievement. Only individuals like you and Elena, who carry significant concentrations of unmodified human genetics, can truly comprehend what your species once was. Elena was exploring deeper into the station's databases when she suddenly gasped. Dad, Athena, you need to see this. The genetic modifications aren't permanent. There's a way to reverse them. The displays filled with medical data and treatment protocols. Marcus stared at molecular diagrams that showed how the alien viruses could be neutralized and damaged, neural pathways repaired. Human scientists working in secret developed countermeasures to the biological warfare, Athena explained. But they needed time to test and refine the treatments. The silence happened too quickly for them to implement a cure. Elena was practically vibrating with excitement. We could fix this, Dad. We could help humans remember who they really are. The treatments are complex and require the technological infrastructure that only stations like this one can provide, Athena warned. But yes, it is theoretically possible to restore human cognitive function to pre-silence levels. Marcus was overwhelmed by the implications. How many humans would need treatment? Approximately 95% of the current human population carries some level of genetic modification, Athena replied. But the treatments could be distributed through existing medical systems if we could establish secure production facilities. Elena was already thinking ahead. We'd need more than just this station. We'd need a network of facilities, trained personnel, and protection from alien interference. The network already exists, Athena said. It has been waiting for 3,000 years for humans to activate it. The central display changed to show a galaxy-wide map dotted with hidden installations. Marcus counted dozens of markers scattered across known space. Each installation contains production facilities, medical equipment, and historical archives, Athena explained. They are disguised as asteroids, derelict ships, or natural phenomena. Most are in systems that aliens consider worthless or dangerous. Elena was studying the locations. Some of these are in systems where humans already live. There could be installations near every major human colony. That was the plan, Athena confirmed. The Remembrance Project hoped that eventually, humans would rediscover their heritage and use these installations to reclaim their rightful place in the galaxy. Marcus felt a chill as he realized the scope of what they were discussing. If we activate this network, if we start treating humans with these genetic therapies, we'll be declaring war on every alien government in the galaxy. Not war, Elena said, her eyes bright with possibilities she was seeing through the neural interface. Revolution. We'll be proving that the entire foundation of current galactic civilization is built on a lie. Athena's voice was carefully neutral. The choice is yours, Colonel Chen. You can use this information to quietly improve the lives of a few humans, or you can expose the truth to the entire galaxy. Before Marcus could respond, alarms began sounding throughout the station. Elena's eyes went wide as she processed incoming sensor data. The alien fleet has arrived early, she announced. 7 ships, just like Athena predicted. And Dad, they're not here for a friendly inspection. They're armed for battle. Marcus felt his military training take over. What are our defensive capabilities? Elena was accessing weapon systems through the neural interface. Oh my, she breathed. Dad, this station has enough firepower to destroy a small moon. The shield generators alone could withstand bombardment from 100 ships. But if we fight them, Marcus said slowly, there's no going back. The moment we reveal this station's true capabilities, every alien government will know that humans are more than they pretended to be. Athena spoke quietly. Colonel Chen, the alien fleet is taking aggressive positions around the station. They are charging weapons and raising shields. I believe they already suspect what this installation really is. Elena looked at her father with determination. Dad, they're not going to let us leave quietly. They can't risk the truth getting out. Marcus stared at the tactical display showing alien warships surrounding their position, after a lifetime of being treated as inferior, of watching his daughter struggle against prejudice and limitations. He felt something awakening in his chest, a fierce pride he hadn't felt since his military service. Elena, he said quietly, show them what humans are really capable of. Elena smiled and placed both hands firmly on the interface. Athena, activate all defensive systems and send a message to every hidden installation in the network. Tell them it's time to wake up. Message sent, Athena replied. Colonel Chen, Elena, welcome to the beginning of humanity's second age among the stars. Outside the station, alien warships opened fire, their weapons blazing against shields that had been designed by human engineers 3,000 years ago. But this time, humans with the alien weapons struck Omega-7's shields like raindrops hitting a mountain. Elena stood at the central interface. Her consciousness merged with the station's systems, feeling each impact as a gentle vibration. Through the neural link, she could sense the alien commanders' shock as their most powerful weapons failed to even dent the human shields. Their weapons are so primitive, Elena said, her voice filled with wonder. Dad, it's like they're throwing rocks at us. Marcus watched the tactical displays as 7 alien warships poured everything they had into their attack. The Altarian dreadnought was the size of a city, its blue energy weapons designed to crack planets. The Vegan collective ships moved in perfect formation, their quantum torpedoes capable of destroying entire asteroid fields. But against Omega-7's defenses, they might as well have been children playing with toys. Athena, Marcus said, are we in any actual danger? Negative, Colonel Chen. Our shields are operating at 12% capacity and show no signs of stress. The alien weapons are based on technology that humans discarded as obsolete 3,000 years ago. Elena was processing information from across the galaxy through the quantum communication network. Dad, something amazing is happening. The hidden installations are waking up. All of them. the central chamber filled with holographic displays showing locations across known space. One by one, installations that had slept for millennia were coming online. What aliens had dismissed as asteroids were revealing themselves to be massive shipyards. Derelict hulks were activating as fully functional battlecruisers. Even natural phenomena like nebulae were proving to be camouflaged human facilities. "How many installations are there?" Marcus asked. 237 major facilities, Athena replied, plus over 1,000 smaller outposts and supply stations. The Remembrance Project was more extensive than even your uncle realized. Elena was reading status reports flowing through the network. "Dad, some of these installations are in the heart of alien space. There's a facility inside the Altarian home system that's been disguised as a moon for 3,000 years. Marcus felt a moment of vertigo as he realized the scope of what they had inherited. "We're not just awakening a few hidden bases. We're activating an entire shadow civilization. A civilization that never truly died," Athena corrected. "It was merely sleeping, waiting for humanity to remember its heritage." The alien attack intensified as more ships arrived. Elena watched through the station's sensors as an entire Altarian battle fleet dropped out of hyperspace, followed by vegan reinforcements and ships from a dozen other species. "They're calling in everything they have," Elena reported. "It looks like half the galactic fleet is heading here." But even as the alien forces gathered, reports were coming in from across the galaxy that made their efforts seem futile. Human installations were revealing themselves everywhere, and the aliens were discovering that their most secure systems had been under human observation for centuries. The quantum communication network your ancestors built has been monitoring all alien government communications, Athena explained. "We know about their secret military bases, their classified research projects, and their contingency plans for dealing with the human problem." Elena was accessing those intelligence files, her eyes widening as she read. "Dad, they never stopped planning to destroy us. Even after the silence, they've been developing new biological weapons in case humans ever started to recover." Marcus felt his anger growing as he read. Reports of alien research into even more devastating ways to cripple human cognitive function. They were going to make us even more helpless than we already were. "That research has been terminated," Athena announced. "Human agents have been in position for decades, ready to act when the network awakened. Alien bioweapons laboratories are being shut down as we speak." Elena was coordinating activities across dozens of star systems through the neural interface. "Dad, it's incredible. There are humans everywhere who've been waiting for this moment. Scientists, engineers, military officers. They're all revealing themselves and taking action." "Your uncle's organization was larger than anyone realized," Athena explained. "Humans with partial genetic resistance to the modifications have been working in secret for generations, preparing for this day." The alien fleet around Omega-7 had grown to over 100 ships, but their attacks were becoming increasingly desperate. Elena could sense their commanders' panic as they realized that their weapons were completely ineffective. "They're requesting reinforcements," Elena reported. "But Dad, look at this." The holographic display showed alien fleets across the galaxy converging on newly revealed human installations, only to find themselves vastly outgunned. Ships that had hidden among asteroids for millennia were emerging as technological marvels that made the most advanced alien vessels look like antiques. "The Terran Deep Space Fleet is operational again," Athena announced. "All major installations report ready status. The network is fully awakened." Marcus stared at the galaxy-wide tactical display. "How do we end this without destroying half the galaxy?" "We give them a demonstration they'll never forget," Elena said, her voice carrying new confidence. "Athena, can you establish communication with all alien fleet commanders simultaneously?" "Communication channels are open," Athena confirmed. Elena's voice, amplified by the station systems, reached every alien ship in the galaxy. "Attention, alien fleet commanders. This is Elena Chen, speaking for the restored Terran Deep Space Fleet. You are attacking installations that belong to the human species by right of construction and inheritance." Marcus watched as alien communication channels lit up with panicked chatter. The name Terran Deep Space Fleet was apparently triggering recognition in historical databases that the aliens had thought were safely buried. "You call us primitive," Elena continued, "but you are flying in ships built with technology that humans invented. You navigate using charts that humans created. You communicate using networks that humans established. For 3,000 years, you have lived in a civilization that humans built, while telling yourselves that we were your inferiors. The alien attack stopped as commanders struggled to process what they were hearing. Elena took advantage of their confusion to make her point even clearer. Athena, demonstrate our defensive capabilities. Demonstration commencing, Athena replied. The space around Omega-7 suddenly filled with energy fields that made the station's shields visible. The shields were enormous, extending for thousands of kilometers in all directions, easily encompassing the entire alien fleet. But more impressive was their complexity. Instead of simple energy barriers, the shields formed geometric patterns that seemed to bend space itself. These shields could contain the energy output of a star, Elena announced. Our weapons could sterilize entire solar systems, but we are not interested in conquest or destruction. We want only what was stolen from us, recognition of humanity's true place in galactic civilization. Marcus felt proud of his daughter as he listened to her speak with the authority of someone commanding a galactic fleet. Through the neural interface, she had access to 3,000 years of human diplomatic experience. Here are our terms, Elena continued. All alien governments will acknowledge the historical record of human achievement. Human colonies will be granted full independence and the right to self-governance. The genetic warfare programs designed to suppress human cognitive function will be terminated, and their architects prosecuted for crimes against sapient beings. The alien fleet commanders were silent, but Marcus could see their communications networks buzzing with activity as they consulted with their home governments. In return, Elena said, we offer the same thing our ancestors offered: cooperation, shared technology, and peaceful coexistence. We have no interest in dominating other species. We want only to reclaim our rightful heritage. The response came from Admiral Zix of the Altarian Empire, his voice tight with barely controlled fear. The Altarian government requires time to consult historical records and verify these claims. Elena smiled, and Marcus could see that she was enjoying herself. Admiral Zix, your historical records have been edited and falsified for 3,000 years. But we kept the originals. Athena, transmit the complete archives to all alien governments. Across the galaxy, alien leaders found their communication systems flooded with historical documents, videos, and records that proved beyond doubt that human civilization had been the foundation of everything they considered modern and advanced. You have 72 hours to respond, Elena announced. At the end of that time, humanity will begin the process of reclaiming our colonies and resuming our place in galactic affairs. We strongly suggest that you make the transition peaceful. Marcus watched as the alien fleets began withdrawing from human installations across the galaxy. It wasn't a retreat. It was a recognition that they were completely outmatched by technology they had thought was safely buried. Elena, Marcus said quietly, what happens now? Elena removed her hands from the interface and turned to her father with a smile that reminded him of her mother.